Hi, this is BasilGreen speaking, and I'd like to welcome you to Straight Talk on BasilGreen Live. But today I am not recording, I'm not doing a live recording. You are going to be listening to this after I've done it. As you can see, you got the logo for uh, the Straight Talk on BasilGreen Live on the picture. But it's still my voice, my face is there. Usually happens every Wednesday at 1900 South African Standard Time on my Facebook page. So I'm going to be talking about a particular subject that I have been pondering on. I had promised a politician, a guy that works in politics. I was having a conversation with him. I needed a proof of address for opening up a bank account. So I went and visited his office. Well, when I was directed there, I didn't know that it was a political party's office. So it's one of the smaller political parties that was recently started during the elections. So I don't want to talk about the party and who the person is. But I had a conversation with him. He was helpful in helping me get the proof of address. So maybe at a later stage I will reveal who the person is once I've got permission from him. So I don't know why I'm taking this route, but I just believe it's the best way to do it right now. So he had mentioned that a couple of things where he said that politics, if you're getting involved in voting, you're also involved in politics. And our politics has an effect on us. So I personally didn't want to get involved in politics, not because I had my own bad views of it. And I'm actually putting this video together to make a public confession. I'm in the Christian world, we call this repentance. So after just thinking about it, going into a little bit of research about the topic, I realized that I was overreacting, and my reservations concerning politics was based on things that I've seen and witnessed from politicians. Now, we all know that politicians have a bad reputation, but the actual profession of being a politician is not wrong. It's like any other profession that you find here in the world, whether you're a teacher, a policeman, a soldier, or you are a business person, you work in a corporate environment as a manager, or you're a marketing person, you're a singer, whatever it is that you use as your profession, you've chosen to be your profession. So I am a person now that is saying that there is nothing wrong with the actual profession. However, there is a stigma associated or bad reputation associated with being a politician because of certain individuals that have decided to use the profession to do their own things. Now there's a lot of reasons why these people do it, and I am not a politician. I don't follow that profession. I am an entrepreneur and I am an author. So this is the life that I've chosen to go to. I am a Christian as well, and I'm not against politics. Why? Because there are people that need to run the country. We need those people, and they have given their lives and to go and work in that particular field. Just like we need police and soldiers in our country, we need teachers or whatever other skills that are here in South Africa that are needed. We need those people. So it is a good profession to get into, I believe. However, because of certain individuals that has received a bad reputation, to say that politicians are not trustworthy, basically, especially now in South Africa, where we're finding all of these things happening that the nation is complaining about, especially the looting of money and other things that have been promised not happening in the way that the people heard about them. So I'm going to be talking about traits of a politician in the 21st century. Now, this is my list I've created, uh, and it's not an exhaustive list. It's 13 traits that I've put together. So just to show that this is what I believe a politician should have. There could be more, there could be less, but this is what I believe a politician should have. Now, I am a person that uh, would like to express that this is a profession that is needed. I know that, but I have faith in the nature of people turning. This is one of the reasons why I became a motivational speaker. I opened it up as a business and a life coach and all of these other things that I do that pertains to empowering people and developing people. That's why I also went into the training field, is because I believe in the goodness of people and in their potential to do something right. Uh, that's the main reason why I do these talks, is because if I can just get one person to listen to something that I have to say and it impacts their life in a positive way, they can go out and touch many, many lives. You must understand the power of one individual. If you can just stop to focus on developing that individual, you know, you don't really need a thousand and hundreds of thousands of people. Yes, some people boast about that, and I'm not saying it in a negative sense, but I would rather have a few people that will take what I have to teach, and then they will go out and actually do what I have to say, and they can come back and say that I used your content and this is what it has done for me. So if you are going to use this, remember to just come give me a review or how it has changed your life. So I've had reports of that, but today that's not the reason why I'm putting this together. I'm not doing it to blow my own horn. I am actually making my public confession of a particular point of view I had about politics, where I viewed it in a negative sense because of the bad image that I had of it, uh, the, the, the examples that I saw. Uh, and I'm not here to name names today, but I'm here to say that uh, my view has changed. That politics is not a bad thing. It's the implementation of the profession. So, like in every profession, there are good and bad people. So, yeah, and the reason why I can put together this list is because this is something that we would desire to see in people, and it's unfortunately I've personally seen things happening, and I've said, hey, for that kind of profession, I've learned quite a few things that you can do from the leaders, and there's things that you are just not supposed to do. But I'm not going to talk about the things that you're not supposed to do. That is not part of the list. Uh, but the list is also created as a result of seeing certain things happening in the country. So the first thing is you need credibility as a politician. And you find that most of them are able to furnish that when or produce that when they are rallying for their positions or whatever. They'll come and present their credentials stating that they are able to do what the position requires, and they have people behind them, rallying for them. For example, I remember the first time I got involved in a political party. I was not serving the Lord Jesus Christ. Somebody that I knew in the community came and they showed us these forms to join the political party, and then we we signed up. They paid for me, so that was a quicker way for them to get us. Or I don't remember if I had the money, but it was a quicker way to get us to actually come on board. And then immediately they told us we must go and vote for a man that was coming into being a counselor in our ward, in the area that I am living in. So I was living in the new section in Marin Range, and we we voted. Everybody voted, and I can remember clearly because I saw one of the guys that I went to high school with. And he was rallying and pushing, and he was the one also saying, "Hey, we must vote for this particular counselor so that he can represent the party in the elections for the position of counselor." And uh, he won. The guy won the elections, and he became the counselor of our particular ward, and Marriage was part of that ward. I remember that. I think, but I'm not going to mention the counselor's name today. So, but that person had credibility in front of the people. Why? Because they presented his case. Then you also need good public speaking skills. Most politicians do have the good ones. They have good public speaking skills. You've noticed them, those that are quite good. They know how to speak in public. They know how to present their thoughts, their ideas in a way that will keep people engaged and convince the people to believe what they are proposing for their work that they are doing. So most politicians do have that. Now, a politician also needs to have empathy. Why? Because at the end of the day, if you're unable to uh, see yourself in another person's shoes, you are gonna end up taking advantage of the position that you have been given. So a politician needs that in order to deal with people. You also have to be able to uh, empathize with those people. And there are politicians that are good with that. So I've heard of politicians that are able to empathize with that. Today I'm not mentioning names. I'm going to be a little bit behaved. Uh, y'all know me, I can do that sometimes. But I believe I need to do it this way today. Just keep people's identities a secret. Now, a politician must also have integrity. The reason why is because you are going to be handling large amounts of public money. You're going to have access to opportunities that particular individuals, especially entrepreneurs, business owners, and even people that are looking for normal kind of work in the public sector. So business people are gonna want to do favors for you, and you are gonna be expected to do favors for them. So you need a lot of integrity to be able to handle that position because of the things that you're going to be exposed to. And people need to trust you, you know. So in order for that to come, you have to work with a lot of integrity. So you, as a politician, you already built up your credibility with the people, the general public, and you were able to convince them through your public speaking skills. You show them that you understand the pain and the desires that they have, the aspirations that they have through your empathetic heart. You can empathize with the people, showing them that you're able to picture yourself walking in their shoes, or even if you have walked in those person's shoes, you are able to relate uh, that you're also a human being who has difficulties. You are a person that has dreams and desires. Now there are many ways to present that to the general public. I know that there are politicians that are very good with winning people over as a result of their skills that they hold. Uh, 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 so you come to a point where you're showing now you have integrity, that everything you say you do, you can be trusted, and that you won't even steal a 10 cents from the the money that you are handling. You won't do underhanded things, and you won't get involved in all of that stuff that most of the people get involved in. So one is also your ability to handle conflict that is directed to you, and conflict that is uh, between the people that you are leading. You have to be able to resolve that conflict and deal with that conflict so that things don't get out of control, and people do not end up uh, creating chaos in the area that you are working in. So that is a very important ability for you to have as a politician. Now, politicians, they have to be strategic, and many of the good ones are very strategic. Sometimes you can actually see through their strategy, but the ones that are very, very successful in what they are doing and the ones that are producing the right results are very strategic. They got the right people around them. They make and execute good plans, and they know how to keep a good PR, public relations campaign, and their image is good in front of people. So basically, their lives are strategically lived, and their political uh, profession or their political campaigns are always strategically planned out and executed. So their their ability to achieve success comes from their ability to be strategic. Now, this is, I believe, also a very important one, is for you to have compassion as a politician. You need to love people. You need to have a heart for people. You need to be genuine with people, especially those who are poor, those who are going through difficulties, and those who are in need. We find that there are politicians who don't have this kind of thing. They are oppressive, and they are very greedy. They steal the poor people's money that is being given by the taxpayers to look after those people in the country. And many of them are, are not considerate of even those who are unemployed. So, as a politician, even though you are going for your political office, you have to do it in a way that's also gonna include compassion. That when you are doing your stuff, you are not destroying, especially the poor, the average person out there, so that you are able to maintain your image as a good politician. This is the ideal. I know that some of these things, the politicians don't have all of them. Some of them want us to believe that they have them. I'm not yet finished. I am halfway, you can say. There's another 6 more that I need to go through. So the politicians want us to believe that they have this, and they do everything in their power to present this image. However, when we sit and we analyze it, that's why it's always important for politicians to watch their actions as well. So that's part of your strategy when you're doing stuff, that you don't forget to show compassion, not for only your particular group that you are trying to target, but for all kinds of people that you are going to be leading. Because at the end of the day, you will have people that are going to vote for you. However, there are people that didn't vote for you that you're also going to be responsible for. And you also have to have that kind of compassion for those people as well. The eighth one, I believe, is patient endurance. As a politician, sometimes your stuff is not going to happen same time. You could be a person that is new, or you're coming with a new concept, a new way of doing things, to change things that have been established. You're not going to be met with happy faces. Why? Because you're coming with something that is new, and people don't like new things because it requires for us to change, and change sometimes, in most cases, requires growth, and people don't want to grow. because growth is painful for some people. It's not a pleasurable thing for them to be stretched. Some of them are happy doing what they already know, and they don't want to go into the land of unknown. So they'll fight that, and you will be called all kinds of names, but you're gonna have to be patient and exercise endurance in that area. Every day you're gonna get up. You're gonna be in. Sometimes you're gonna have to walk alone. So you have to be patient in that area of your pursuit, especially if you're coming with ideas that are new and ideas that challenge the status quo, especially if they are ideas that the established order sees that is actually going to work, and it's going to topple them, and it's going to sway the minds of the people, and it's going to generally help people. So I'm not going to say which political party I'm speaking about, but I have seen that there is something that can turn out to be quite very, very good, but they are being accused by those from the established order that they are coming with something that is not considering the masses. But my own personal view, maybe in a later talk, one of my other talks in my weekly review, I will talk about that and just go into details about certain things that I see. But it's one of the things that I've mentioned in my book, uh, uh, the Ultimate Productivity Quest series, book 1 and book 2. So I'm gonna go on to number 9. You need emotional intelligence. Other way to say it, you need to have a thick skin, not to be phased by the things that come to bombard you. And this also goes hand in hand with patient endurance, especially for those who are coming with stuff that people do not tend to like. And politicians are hated. So maybe you coming as a good politician, you're going to be bombarded with all the hatred that the people have for the other bad politicians. You know, you're going to have a bit of a hard job convincing them that you are coming with good intentions and that you are not a person that is coming to deceive them. So you need emotional intelligence also to deal with the issues around you. You know, if you look at the parliaments, I've seen more than one parliament uh, in our country and other countries as well. And some of the stuff that they show on there, I don't know if South Africa's on steroids, you know, compared to the other ones. So I'm not saying the politicians are on steroids. That's just a figure of speech I'm using to say that hey, it's more intense here in South Africa than the other nations. Because I've had more exposure to the South African parliament. I've watched quite a couple times on DSTV. So, but I'm not. You've seen some of the things. I'm not gonna point them out today and say people's names. Maybe I've shared a little bit of the stuff that is bad, but I'm trying to behave myself and not point out all of the wrong, but to just give my view of the traits that a politician needs in the 21st century. So because politics has been around for quite a couple of centuries already, so we've been taught to actually shun politicians out. We don't trust them. I had to sit down when I had a talk with this particular politician. I even told him, hey, you know what? I think I should go and sit down and actually think about this thing, and just do a little bit of research, so that I can I can tackle this issue with a different mindset, Uh, but this is not me saying I'm going into politics. I don't believe this is for me. But at the moment, as a Christian, I've prayed about particular things, and I don't sense myself going in that direction right now. I'm gonna focus on being an entrepreneur, even though it's quite difficult. I know that there's grace for me, but I believe there's people out there. Maybe you are the one that's gonna benefit from the stuff that I'm sharing. You don't have to use everything. I don't think you have to have all of these traits. But I believe that politician needs all of this stuff, and that it will help them to be better politicians, so that they are able to serve us, because they are there to serve. And emotional intelligence will help you, because there are different characters that you have to deal with within the political arena. Maybe you're working for your local council, or even if you're working for your national parliament, or you out there rallying for somebody within your political party, or you're just rallying for a particular idea that you want to promote in society. You are going to be bombarded by different kinds of people, and your competition is also going to make things difficult for you. So emotional intelligence is very, very important for you as a politician. So number 10, you need to be influential. I'm not talking about the influential people with the money. You must be able to influence people, especially in a good way. Now, there are different kinds of influences. There's good and there's bad influences. And we've seen politicians who are bad influences. They can influence people to do evil. They can influence people to be corrupt. And they can influence people to destroy and be vandalizers, and just to be destructive and violent. And some of them can even kill for their political leaders. Why? Because this is how much power, and these people have a lot of influence over the people. Uh, so we as people also, we need to also become people that can critically analyze instructions that are sent out by political leaders, so that we can sit down and not help tyrants or people that are going to oppress other citizens here in South Africa. And sit down, even if you don't say anything, for even a day or two, if you need to just sit down and think things through, and see, uh, is this instruction really going to benefit us as a nation here in South Africa, or in your community? And certain people will be able to hide their agendas for a while. So don't follow bad leadership or bad influence. Let us be leaders who uh, become those that are good influences. I'm telling you, because a good influence is always going to bring about good results, and a bad influence is going to bring about bad results. And sometimes those bad results might not be seen immediately, but the effects can take even 5 or 10 years, or even longer, for us to deal with and to sort out. It's not about just attaining a position. It's for us also to get there in the front, and to do what we need to do. You're a leader in the political world. Uh, do your stuff. We are leaders in different places. I'm in the lead from where I am, and I am trying to influence you in a good way, in my domain, so that I can I can get more people to become responsible leaders. That's my vision. Uh, I am going to work on it every single day so that I can influence as many people to become responsible leaders. I've been doing this here from 2014. I put this vision together, and even up until now, I haven't given up because I believe this is what I was created to do, and I believe I got this here from my Creator, the Lord Jesus Christ. I am His follower, and this is how I live out my Christian faith, is by going out and being a positive influence in the country. Uh, Start off small. I don't know if I'm talking to someone that is like Nelson Mandela. There's never going to be another Nelson Mandela in South Africa who's going to do something like what Nelson Mandela has done. But that person could be like him in a sense that they have greatness inside of them. They have influence all over the world, and then that person can go out and make changes. Sometimes you are not called to go and be the big name. Sometimes you are the one who's gonna raise up the big name. So we just need to know our place. That's why I am happy serving the Lord Jesus Christ, because if He has given me that job of influencing that person, I am happy to impart whatever it is that I have inside of me, and do it in a way that is faithful, so that when that person gets to their desired location, or their desired place, they are able to flourish because of my faithfulness. Now, for you as a political leader, you have to influence the people in front of you, because you are directing people in a particular way. Now, we are following political leaders, and we are also learning leadership from them. We might not be involved uh, big time in politics, but they are a good example. Also affects us. It affects the children in schools. I can share when I was a young boy, I was in primary school. I was so excited. The teachers were excited, our class teachers in primary school, they told us, hey, finally we're gonna have the first election. So this was probably their first time going and actually vote in a democracy, and the teachers were excited. We were excited to pull up the new South African flag, and we sang our national anthem, and we heard the stories of our liberation heroes. They were our heroes when we were young. We heard the stories, and their good example affected us in some way. So we grew up thinking like that. Uh, no, things are possible. Great things are possible because we saw, and even Nelson Mandela, we saw that, hey, great things are possible, and we saw how his name and got famous all over South Africa. It did something inside of us that if they can achieve something like that, we want to do something significant in the world. Now, we're not going to go to great extents to try and do that. There is ways to do stuff. We have to find it in a way that does not gonna cause problems for other people as well. So we do our best to do that as leaders too. So that's an important thing. Now, a leader also has to be willing to be a person that is controversial, in a sense, where you're gonna speak stuff that is not gonna sit well with certain individuals. You have to be happy to stand for your beliefs, and endure whatever it is that you need to endure. I did say I want to mention names. Excuse me for not keeping my promise. I mentioned some people's names now, but I'm behaving. So I never speak bad about them. I'm behaving like not like before. So you'll probably hear the man's name in my weekly review for on my LinkedIn profile. I'm gonna post it up on there. The man that I was speaking to about politics. He is a political leader. I just need to put together the review. By Friday, I'll have it uploaded on LinkedIn. So I'm going to go for number 11. Oh, that's just controversial. I just said that. So number 11 is controversial. You must be willing to speak things that are not received well, or sometimes you're going to speak ideas that challenge people, that don't sit well with certain people. Not because you are saying bad things, but you are coming up with ideas that are innovative sometimes, that also create controversy. Now, we can see controversy where people are just doing foolish things, and everybody is just talking about their foolishness. And that's not being controversial. You say things that challenge the status quo, but it makes sense, to the people outside, that this guy is saying things that is not normally thought on said, and the way he's saying it is actually making sense. You're coming with things that are making sense, but they are controversial in a way. So remember, we're not talking about controversy where you're just doing foolish stuff and you're just doing it to grab attention, so that your brand is getting exposure. We are not yet like certain musicians get their kind of exposure, and it works for them because their brand is along that lines. I'm not promoting rap music or hip hop music and all this other kind of music. I prefer Christian music, me, because I know it feeds my soul. I listen to other kinds of R&B, but I'm very particular as to which kinds of songs I listen to from R&B singers as well. It must do something good for me. So, as I'm saying, those singers or rap or artists, they create this whole hype about them by doing stuff that is infamous. It makes them famous, famous for the wrong reasons, because they did something that created a talk, and then they get popular. And when they get popular, their music sells, and they use that as a platform to promote whatever it is that they're selling. That you find sometimes a person will release a particular CD, and before that CD they'll create something, some kind of hype, so that we can focus on them, and it will draw you to that person's music. Sometimes you'll want to go and listen now because, hey, the person was doing something, and when their music is playing, it actually appeals to you because that person was in the news. I used to be like that when I was in the world. They'll trap us like that. How many people they got trapped with that kind of tactic. So let us not get trapped by people that are creating controversy in that way, uh, unless it just happens by mistake and that person wasn't even intending on doing that. But there are people that are very strategic That's part of their strategy, and we need to just sit back and look and see, is this person actually doing something productive, or are they coming to just uh, uh, get our attention so that we can start posting him on social media, and they will be the trend. They will be trending everywhere, and their name is splashed all over. You must remember, we don't know what these people are trying and do, and how they are conditioning our minds to get their name out there. So we mustn't get fooled by those people. So you, as a politician, do stuff that is productive, so that you are gonna uh, do things that are gonna cause people to move forward, and not come with your own personal agendas to sway us in the wrong direction, so that you can come in and sneak in. Actually, uh, remember that, be a good politician. That's a profession. I've sat and I've had time to think about it. You can actually create a good career out of it. So don't get caught up in all this hype, and don't do it. I personally believe, I'm gonna get to that at the end, that it shouldn't just be about attaining a particular position or a particular level. You have to have your heart in it. I'm a person like that. If I'm gonna spend my life doing something, my heart has to be in it. I have to put it in with passion. So if I'm doing something, it's either all or nothing for me. So if you got my attention, you're gonna have my full attention. I like to do things like that. I am passionate about things, passionate about life, and if I'm doing something, I must do it properly. So I know I'm gonna be tested on that, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. I'm doing it because I love this. I enjoy it. I'm willing to endure all of the hardships that come with what I am doing. So it's not only for personal gain. I'm doing it for free, but I don't refuse when people pay me. Why? Because I must take care of myself, and it also helps me to get up in the morning and be like a normal person here in the world. So the 12th trait I believe you should have as a politician is that you need to be organized. Politicians are well organized people. You can even see in the way they do their stuff. Even the ones that are doing all of the chaos, it's organized chaos. So we don't look at them as if they don't know what they are doing, even though it's chaotic and it's chaos, but it's organized chaos. They are doing it in a way that it's organized and strategic, when they are creating all of that chaos. So they have a plan, and you go out and you execute that plan. So we believe in God, but God gives us vision, and He gives us vision, and He allows us to go out and execute that vision. So we follow God's plan, we who believe in Him, and then we take that plan and we execute it on the earth. So some people believe that we Christians are not responsible people, but we are. We do have a vision, we do have a plan, but our plan comes from Him, and He gives us the idea and the plan to implement it on the earth. So we do have that, and we are able to go out and execute a strategic plan. So it might not be the same as what other people normally do. Probably because even in the political world, some politicians are saying they're being strategic, but we can see that some of their stuff that they are doing is actually creating disrepute for the profession. So they need to change their strategy so that they also do not diminish the profession. It's a profession, and people can go into it even from a young age, I believe, and do great exploits. So I remember speaking to a young man that was studying political science, I think, but it had to do with politics. And I told him, hey, once you get there, don't change now and become like the rest of them. I also had a conversation with a police officer. They share their desire to go up the ranks, and a couple of years later, he's achieved that desire, and he's achieved what he wanted. But in our conversation, I said, don't get corrupted when you get in front of them. Now we understand that there are red tape, and they have to submit to their leaders. We've heard of police officers wanting to do the right thing, but they are stopped as a result of a particular leader not wanting that particular thing to happen, especially if they want to lock up somebody or do something that is gonna benefit the department that they are working for. But they get stopped. Why? Because the leader doesn't want that to happen. So you have to be a person that's also able to be organized. I'm going to get back to that now. Be organized. And remember, even the chaotic ones are organized in their chaos. Why? Because they're not doing it in a way that is not getting any results. You find that after the chaos is created, they are getting results and they are moving forward. So politicians are organized. The last but not least of them, and remember, this is not an exhaustive list, this is just my list of what you can have as a politician. And remember, I'm just speaking as somebody that has done some research. I've lived not a long time on the earth. I've been through a couple of experiences, and maybe somebody else will come with something else. But at the end of the day, take this, you do your own research and see if what I'm speaking about is lining up with what is needed for politics in the 21st century. The last but not least is humility. And remember that politicians are also leaders. However, different leaders in different places need different traits as well. I'm not saying they're not the same. And even if you're doing leadership development, in most cases, when we're going for these leadership developments and courses and stuff and workshops, we always uh, see political leaders being put there because they're in the public eye, and we get told this is what you need to have as a leader. So they are the ones that we look at, but we need to be able to see a politician have some of these traits, so that when they get there in the front and they get given the position and the people trust them, they must remember that the last one is humility. And humility allows you to be a servant. Why? Because the proud don't want to serve. The proud want to be served. They want to be like the king. But the humble person becomes like a servant. They don't mind serving people, even if they have the biggest position, even the highest position in politics needs a person with humility, especially when you've done wrong. You need to humble yourself so that you can deal with the matter. A proud person, a person that is driven by their ego and pride, They use their position to beat people down, to exalt themselves, so that they can look better than other people. And person with pride will is actually dangerous for the profession, or whatever departments or governmental institutes that they are looking after, because they will not bow down until even that play that particular thing that they are given charge over to serve in. They will make sure that they hold on to their position with pride, and even if they've done wrong, they will destroy that particular thing. Why? Because they've not learned to humble themselves and walk in humility and acknowledge when they've done wrong, or when they've done right, still be humble. Why? Because that is what a good politician should be able to do. I'm not talking about you not sharing your successes, but your successes shouldn't give you a big head. We say here in Marin Ridge, don't get a big head, or puffed up. Why? Because your head is so heavy, you can't even carry it around. At the end of the day, your head will be so heavy, you will end up dropping and falling. And that is a scripture actually. Pride comes before the fall. So don't think too much of yourself when you get into that position. Why? Because you are there to serve the people. Without the people there, you wouldn't have a job. So your job is to go there. The people voted you in. They trusted you to lead them and to take care of the resources that the country or the city or the community has, or the different communities have at their disposal, and especially the financial resources and the opportunities within that place. You have been given that responsibility, that privilege. It's not it's a privilege, but it's also an honor for you to be there. Why? Because you are there to serve those people and to distribute those resources in such a way that you make sure that those people's lives benefit and they flourish. Now, when you are there and people's lives are not flourishing, then you are a problem. You are not a good politician. You should find another profession if you don't enjoy doing the things that a good politician is supposed to be doing. Then go and find something else to do so that you can be happy. Because if we are asking you as followers within a particular realm that you are leading, be it a governmental department or a city or a nation, you are not happy when the people are asking you to do what good politicians are supposed to be doing, then you should find something else that's gonna make you happy. And then you won't have problems with the people. That's the best thing I can say. If you like teaching, go and teach. But if you don't like being a teacher, you're going to have a problem when you get in front of the class. The class is going to see, hey, this one don't like to teach. I know the teachers that they go and do 4 years and they study and they go into the schools, but the person is never teaching. They're not doing what a teacher's supposed to be doing. They probably like being outside doing something else. So they're supposed to be doing something else, finding another kind of profession, because they don't really enjoy doing the job. So the same as for you politicians. Maybe you should go and find another job that's gonna make you happy. But don't go and become a career criminal. Why? Because you're not gonna be happy when you get put in jail. This is what's happening with the politicians now. The reason why some of them are in trouble is because the people got unhappy. They're seeing, hey, you're not doing what a good politician is supposed to be doing. So now you're landing yourself in trouble. Instead, you're just supposed to do what good politicians are supposed to be doing, and then everybody else was gonna be happy. Now you can't make everybody happy, but the people were gonna be at least happy they're receiving their stuff from you, and your leadership was supposed to influence people in the right way. But we find that politics, we find that the leaders are actually bad influences for the people, and they're following bad examples. Now, I'm not saying to say in a judgmental way. I've just observed that, and many people have observed it, and they are quite unhappy right now about that. So this is my 13 traits of a politician, and I've went a little bit longer than I usually go. It's an hour. You've got enough time. When you do have time, take some time and share this stuff with other people as well, so that they can hear. Maybe you know somebody that wants to go into politics. You can share the stuff with them and let them just chew on all of this stuff, so that they they can receive from what I am talking about. Now, this stuff I've put together some of mine, and I've got from reading and listening to other people talk about what uh, makes a good political leader. This is Basil Green speaking. I hope I have given you something to actually go and sit down and think about, so that you can be a blessing to your profession. Remember, this was my kind of public confession of the politics. I was saying, hey, politicians are all bad, but not all. Maybe there are good politicians that you can find out there, just that they haven't been given the opportunity to show how good they are, because the ones that are bad are holding on to the power. And we are empowering the wrong people. Sometimes we empower the wrong people and we keep them there, then it becomes destructive for the rest of us. So I would say, for the next elections that are coming up, let us actually sit down and think about our votes. I'm still going to vote, uh, but I know I'm not a politician because this is not my profession. It's a career for other people. As a politician is somebody that is involved, from what I read, and the term could be broader, but we are involving ourselves in politics when we are voting. Why? Because it affects us. We are choosing those who have decided to get into the career to actually take their place in public office and do what they've promised they can do. And we need to sit down and actually think about how we're going to cast our vote the next time we cast our vote, because it's going to affect us. You see, it affects us when crisis hits. It affects us even when there's no crisis. And our resources need to last us. Our resources need to take us from one level to another, so that we experience generational success, and then we can't blame the mistakes of the past when we've been given an opportunity to correct them in the right way. And I know there are challenges, but we have to work around those challenges. That's why there are systems and there are laws in place to help us move forward, move the ship forward, move the vehicle forward in a way that the wheels don't fall off. The steering wheel doesn't fall off when the next person comes to take over. So we are all in a relay race, and we need to make sure that we are doing the right thing. when the situation requires us for us to do the right thing. So I'm not a perfect person, but I'm a person that has learned from hardship, uh, and I'm just sharing my view of what it will take for a political leader to actually be successful. Now, I would like some feedback on whether this can help or not. But remember, this can also be transferable to any other kind of leadership position. You can see where you can use all of these things. Your growth is actually important for you to be able to implement these things. We know that in the 21st century, we also have to look at the capacity of the person to receive and to weather the fires that they find themselves through. So you have to challenge yourself as a leader. That's why when I spoke about a leader that comes to speak things that don't sit well with other people, then why? Because it requires the people to change and grow. Uh, and when they are now need to grow, there's heat that person experiences, and it actually forces that person to come to a higher level of thinking and ability to make sense from a different point of view, and to take on different perspectives so that they can grow as a human being. So that's important, and all of these things you can apply them within those situations. You have to be able to retain all of the stuff that you are going through. When you are put through heat experiences, or the fire, we Christian call it, it's a biblical term that we talk about, where you are being purified. All of the stuff that you do not need in your life, that is going to cause you to fail in life, is getting removed, and you have to endure that process. Why? Because you are being stretched in that time, so that when you are receiving, your capacity is enlarged. You are able to take in more pressure. So you are able to take in more pressure. You are able to go a little bit higher. You're seeing from a different perspective. You grow in that time. So I would encourage you to take this stuff and go and put it into practice, where you're going to be stretched, where you are going to be challenged in a way where you are forced to grow. You're forced to grow. And in that process, you will start to notice things that you need. So don't be hard on yourself when you find yourself struggling in the beginning, or you're making mistakes. That's where your emotional intelligence comes in, and your patience, endurance comes in, you know, so that your humility comes in. So you need to know when to apply which traits are principle, because these are also principles that you can take, and they become part of you, and they become a trait in you, and they become part of you. They must be ingrained in you. For some it takes a while, for others it's very easy, because they've been developing it from a very young age. I guess you understand what I'm talking about. But all people can learn. That's the beauty about being a human being. We can unlearn stuff and learn new stuff. Thank you for listening to me, and next time we will resume at 7 o'clock on a Wednesday, South African Standard Time. Goodbye.